Okay, let's go.
Craig, I have breaking news.
Rub the head.
I have breaking news right now. Surprisingly, Justin McBride has just announced that he is attending the University of Kentucky.
Oh,
He
cool.
has committed. The James Madison forward, big body, the guy that we really wanted out of all of this. He was off the board, Craig. This guy was. They had given up that he was not coming. They thought, especially now that they had pulled Njai, that maybe he was looking other places. But Justin McBride has just agreed that he is going to sign with the University of Kentucky. That is a big pickup for Mark Pope.
That's huge.
I can't imagine that this hurts the Tyran Stokes decision, although you would imagine that he's already made his decision at this point. Maybe this doesn't make that hurt as bad, if you will, if he decides to go to Kansas. He's a big body who can shoot. We thought as of Saturday that he may announce. In fact, we thought there would be an announcement at any second at that point. At the end of last week, all the way through this week, and hadn't heard anything. And now he has agreed that he is coming. And so that's a big get for the University of Kentucky.
That's huge. Right on the precipice of Stokes making his announcement. This, along with we've talked about the Singhalese guy. We watched video of him again today. We're going to have a huge front court, and we're going to have wings that can shoot. And if Stokes could be the cherry on top, but if not, I think we'll still be okay next year, long as Pope can mend these guys together into a team concept.
Yeah, and that leads us to the most important aspect. I got to get it over to the NBA tip-off that's coming on. But that takes us to the real question of the day, which is absolutely going to be where Tyran Stokes decides he is going to play his college basketball. Stokes checks every box that scouts dream about. He's 6'7". He's 230 pounds. He is an elite wing with size, explosive athleticism, high-level ball handling, physical downhill attacker, and the kind of passing vision that makes him a matchup nightmare at every level. He passes it just as well as he shoots, and he shoots fantastic. Recruiting services across the country have him as the number one overall player in America. He is the number one small forward, number one player in Washington State by composite rankings, and the production backs it up. At Rainier Beach High School this season, Stokes put together monster performances, including a jaw-dropping 63 points in a high school game for his senior night performances, breaking the school scoring record, obviously, on the international stage with USA Basketball. As a 18-year-old kid, or 17 at the time when he was playing with him, 12.3 points per game, 7 rebounds, and 5.6 assists against elite world competition at the FIBA U17 World Cup. Numbers that shows he's much more than a scorer. He's a complete player. The praise from scouts has been loud. 24/7 Sports describes him as an elite, physically dominant two-way wing with NBA-ready traits, while recruiting analysts consistently call him a future top overall NBA draft candidate. Talking number one. This is the big
already.
This is the biggest get, maybe since John Wall, Anthony Davis. This is the kind of transformational player that you have here, and he has taken his time in making this decision, and now we are at that point where it is essentially down to 3 teams. It's the University of Kentucky, the University of Kansas, and the University of Oregon. Most recruiting insiders believe it's down to Kentucky and Kansas. The only thing that has Oregon in the mix right now is this idea that he's playing that money from Nike, and maybe that's where he ends up. I mean, we could all be surprised by that. But here's why it matters. If Kentucky lands Tyran Stokes, that is a statement signing. And I'm telling you, if you add that to Justin McBride that just came out today, all of a sudden, all of these whiffs that people were upset about, they all go away. All of those comments and naysayers go away, Craig.
Well, could it be back to the Richie Farmer not untouchables. What were they called? The '92 team.
The Unforgettables.
Unforgettables, yeah. Because after 2 bad years, we had the bad year, and then Patino brought them in, and this is the start of Pope's run. By getting these players, they'll start talking. Other teams will see that UK can land and put players in the NBA with the backing of the fans. This could be the start. This really could be the start, but it could also be another huge letdown if Stokes goes to Kansas or Oregon.
If they get him, everybody forgets. If they miss, it raises hard questions again about what
it's going to be bad.
We are checking out the board. The tip-off game is Atlanta at New York. He is in Atlanta. He played in a game yesterday or this weekend with Atlanta. He's still there. So that's going to be the big question. I just got a text message that is telling me that Trilly Donovan, one of the inside sources on college basketball, says that 98% of people are saying that it's Kansas, but there are 2 good sources for him saying it's the other way, which he says is kind of annoying. So I guess we are back to that waiting. So I think
putting on a bag of money.
Yeah, well,
you see it.
Yeah, Shaq putting a bag of money up there. There it is.
God, I hope he signs with Kentucky.
What if it's going to be fun to have the big Aristotle here on campus?
He'll be there with his daughter during the UK games. I'm sure he will fly in when he can. That's just going to make the campus go crazy because he loves engaging young people.
Yeah, one of the things that people have knocked on Pope over the last few years is that he hasn't been able to get that big get, that 4 or 5 star athlete. And this would be a big get for him, the biggest get of possible. But I think then you can kind of. I will also say this is make or break. You get Stokes and you don't get a Final Four appearance or have an SEC championship caliber season. That may be it for you, for Coach Pope. You're gonna have to do something with the team if you get a team put together.
Yeah, this will be I mean, the fans are burned out on this drama. I don't think there's any doubt about that. But there's still hope that we can get him, and there's hope for Pope, and if we can get him, it'll just be a great season to look forward to for basketball because we're already looking forward to women's basketball. We're definitely looking forward to football, and then this will be the icing on the cake. And I think he's supposed to done this at 6:30.
Well,
it's just 6:37. I lost track.
Like with anything in this saga, him coming out right at 6:30,
and they might lose some viewers if they don't. Once he announces,
100%. I mean, they're gonna bleed this a little bit too. This is great for ratings. I mean, I understand it's the Knicks and the Hawks, and those are 2 big markets, but you're adding 1 million more eyes right now, all from the same.
And think how fast UK will be next season if they got Stokes and that single lease player and the guards we got. This team will not lack for speed anywhere on the court, and our defense should just be smothering because most of these players are good defenders too.
Well, and if you with Justin McBride now, and if you get Stokes, you have a full team. I mean, you essentially have 6 or 7 guys that can play. Obviously, with McBride coming in, that is a big get as a backup to help out Moreno inside. But you still want to see some other guys that are going to come in and be big bodies. I think Braden Hawthorne's going to be big. I think Reese Potter will help out with that. So I think we're just
Cam Williams is still starting.
And Cam Williams would still be starting at this point. I mean, he is the shooter of the group right now.
Right,
so they're going to commercial break. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I thought it was interesting that KSR just came on and said that they will go live at 7 p.m. So maybe they know something we don't know.
Maybe it's going to be right before they go to the game.
It could be. I mean, the tip-off's at 7:10, so it's entirely possible that they have that. Let's talk a little bit about who they have right now and what that means. We'll start with who Kentucky has already brought into the fold. The headline edition until we had Justin McBride a few minutes ago.
Mhm.
The headline edition was Ousmane Ndiaye, a 6'11" stretch big from Senegal, by way of Italy's top professional league. Last season, playing for Vanoli Cremona in Italy's Series A, Ndiaye averaged 10.2 points, 6.7 rebounds, nearly 1 steal a game. He shot 32% from three, which is nothing to sneeze at when you're, nearly 7 feet
6'11".
tall.
Yeah.
And that's the modern big Mark Pope that he's been coveting. He wants one of these guys. He wants somebody, an overseas international player that plays that fast pace and is a passer and scorer, that not just a big post guy, somebody that can shoot from anywhere. Kentucky believes he fills a major front court need immediately. Kentucky also added Zoom Diallo, a dynamic guard from the University of Washington, Alex Wilkins, a productive wing scorer from Furman, and prep signees Mason Williams and Zion Hawthorne, who give Pope developmental upside as well. The other thing that they're talking to a kid named Ryan Hampton, who is he is a junior in high school right now, but he is a candidate to reclassify, meaning that he has the ability to become a 2026 player as opposed to 2027. It's odd that this late in the recruiting process that Pope is having an in-home visit with a kid like this, but because he qualifies to reclassify and he is a shooter,
right?
And his brother was also a recruit for the University of Kentucky. It's not surprising, but it's interesting that they would go to this young kid. 95% of the decent players are gone at this point. So,
well, I'm wondering. Go ahead.
No, I think they have to kind of see what all options are at this point.
Well, I think we've learned the lesson. We lost several players by our commitment early on to Stokes, and now Pope is continuing to recruit whether he gets Stokes or not. So I think they learned the lesson of just waiting, because Stokes kept putting everybody off, and they were throwing around $6 million and $8 million a year kind of numbers, and still weren't able to land the 17 or 18-year-old kid.
Stupid numbers.
Yeah, stupid numbers. But if it is what it is. But they're back now from commercial.
Yeah,
hold on, turn it up.
Right now, we are waiting for an announcement from Tyran Stokes. And
see what hat he puts on, or he opens his jacket.
Yeah. We are waiting with bated breath like everyone else.
Yeah. He's talking to Kenny the Jet right now. They're playing it out hard.
Don't blame him one bit. I mean, this is the one chance he gets to do this. He is wearing a black zip-up hoodie.
Right. That's why I'm thinking he's going to pull his shirt open like Superman.
Lights all over it.
Think about this. This 17-year-old is with Shaq and Charles and Kenny the Jet. Kenny's got 2 NBA championships.
Be a multi-millionaire for 8 months of work.
Kenny's got 2 championships. Shaq's got 4. And Kenny and Shaq are in the top 50 all-time NBA players. And then he's talking to the greatest announcer ever, Ernie.
He's got a couple of boxes in front of him, so we're going to have to see what he...
I hope Shaq put pressure of UK on him because his daughter's there.
Ernie is now asking him to walk him through the process.
I got my first offer, I think, going into high school for 8th grade summer. So ever since then, just having like college coaches talk to me, having.
You're about 10 seconds ahead of me, Craig. I can hear yours before.
Are you on the internet?
I'm on the internet. I'm on.
Okay, I'm on TV. So if I scream, you know what it is. He's pretty reserved right now.
He is very reserved, opposite of his on-court persona.
Yeah.
Very well spoken.
Here we go.
Yeah, I dropped the top 3, I think, in November. So, for me, I would say those.
The anticipation is killing me.
Yeah, I tell you what, This is a big deal for the University of Kentucky. So we are
Yeah.
waiting with bated breath to find out who Tyran Stokes chooses.
Seventh grade.
Kenny going again.
He went from like being like, oh, he's one of
Talking about him in the seventh grade.
Seventh grade, they were like, no, he's not the player. Seventh grade. How did you keep your focus?
I hope is on Rondo's kid too.
The producer is telling Kenny, I need you to ask another question. We need to bleed our
drag it
numbers
on.
fantastic right now online. Everyone in Kentucky and in Lawrence, Kansas is watching this.
Yeah.
I look at it as just a bunch of people's opinions. Me, I know I gotta keep working.
I haven't seen him this reserved on anything.
I have not either, but it gives me hope that if this is the guy who's handling the ball most of the time.
They'll see my game, they'll recognize me. But being the number one player in the country is just a label that I don't really. It's a good label. I mean, it's a great label to have. But
I'm not in the NBA yet, but he will definitely be there probably in this time next year.
Yeah.
I do like that, being the number one player in the country.
Oh.
For those of you who are just joining us, we are anticipating and waiting with bated breath to see who Tyran Stokes announces where he will be playing basketball next year. So this is a big deal for
we're minutes away.
Yeah.
What we've been waiting on for a month and a half.
The roller coaster is about to end, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for joining us as we're trying to figure it out as much as everybody else.
Yeah, they're milking the clock now. It's the end of the game, and they're up by 30. They're just milking the clock.
And they barely talked about the game that's about to happen. It's a big game for.
Yeah. Right, here we go.
Let's find out exactly who he's going to choose at this point.
Great company, great trading cards. Actually, I got some for you guys. You pass that down.
Okay. Oh, he brought everybody a gift.
That's a gift. Could be worth a lot of money. That's indeed. We're gonna hold these. Definitely hold these.
Got his hand on the blue box.
Hey.
Well, Kansas is blue, and UK is blue.
But first, I would like to
He flipped the box over. I don't got my glasses on. What's that yellow box, the black box say?
It says Panini on it.
Panini.
Yeah.
This is like LeBron going to Miami.
It is going to take his talents to.
Here we go. He's untying something white.
I heard he say, "Hold on."
The box.
Oh, gotta get the shades on for the look.
Yeah,
there's the personality.
Oh, he's doing it like an Oscar Academy Award.
It's blue and white. I mean, you can't tell.
It was wrapped in a blue box and a white ribbon. Then he takes out another blue box. He's going to Kansas. Is that what that says? Yeah,
Rock Chalk.
Going to Kansas.
Oh, that hurts. That hurts. Oh, it's his 2K. Good for him. Good for you, young man. Now Kentucky can simply move on from the Tyran Stokes sweepstakes, and we can move on from there.
Stay off internet tonight because the UK fans are going to be blistering.
Well, it makes the Justin McBride announcement. It makes a lot more sense at this point, almost as if Pope and those guys may have known something and delayed that announcement
to try to counteract it a little bit.
Yeah, and Kentucky has whiffed on Mika Murinen. They have the Baylor transfer. Yusufu has said that he's going to go. Patino. He's Donnie Freeman, who has ended up at St. John's. Now you add in the Tyran Stokes issues. listen, Big Blue Nation, do not jump off any
Not
bridges
at all.
because
We still got a team.
listen, let me tell you about what Kansas had this year. They had a kid who was the number one recruit, and he played 12 games and not even very much in those games. So this was an 8-month rental, and this kid could sit out for 8 months for all we know. So we have some guys coming in, some older guys who are prepared to play. We got some younger guys as well. So at this point, I don't know. Kansas doesn't have much of a team, so it's this is going to be all him all day with the ball at Kansas. And you add in Mika Murinen going to the University of Arkansas as well. So there's going to be some naysayers and saying Pope missed out on some big guys. The guys that Pope does have coming in are team guys. They are all guys who are double-digit scorers, and big names at this point. So
better shooters than what we had last year.
Way better shooters than what we had, and we're keeping our best shooters. But for Captain Clutch, he's going back to BYU. Right. It appears with the announcement yesterday by the NCAA that he will end up that Otega Owe will not get that 5th year that we were hoping. So Kentucky at this point, he and Mark Pope, they are recruiting at a high level, but there are a couple of pieces they're still going to need here, Craig.
Well, like you said, Kansas, he can be a one-man team at Kansas. He can be the superstar for the whole state and for 2 states, really, Missouri and Kansas. But Kentucky's bigger than that, and our fans will be disappointed tonight. I'll be on the pages watching, and I'll be on YouTube watching the fan reactions. I hope they're not brutal. Well, I hope we've got a decent team now.
I believe now with McBride, I think if you add the kid from Washington State, we announced yesterday that Jerome Morton was coming to the University of Kentucky. That paperwork has not been signed, and we're waiting for an announcement from the University of Kentucky.
That'd be another good get.
Yeah, but we're kind of in that waiting game to see what else is out there. I'm already
you want a team of 12 to 15 point scorers, or one guy that's going to get 28 a game?
Oh, I mean the best teams. Look at Michigan last year. They were all averaging between 9 and 17 points, and that's what wins you championships. I will say though that Mark Pope and those guys, I saw a difference in the last 10 days in their recruiting efforts. It was almost like they were already pivoting hard into the what do we do if this doesn't go down the way that we want it? But this is going to affect whether Jamal Crawford comes onto the staff.
I was going to ask you about that. Have you heard anything if Pope is still recruiting Crawford? Because
I mean,
he'd be a great coach.
He would still be a great coach, and while he may not have landed Stokes, I think that it still gives you the opportunity to have a legitimate, along with Mo Williams, a legitimate former NBA player that understands how the league works and how development works.
Yeah, NBA champion player.
This is not the end all be all. I'm already getting text messages. I see Carter Gilbert. Carter Gilbert's already messaged me. He wants to fire Pope, and there's others out there, I'm sure, who are upset.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fun tonight.
A lot of folks need to remember that Tyran Stokes was a Kansas signee months ago. Like from the beginning, he was going to Kansas. The only hang up, and I honestly don't know how you work it out, is Kansas is an Adidas school. Now I heard late this afternoon that Kansas is going to allow him to wear Nike, and that even his uniform is going to be Nike. Although then I heard later on that Adidas should not allow that, and Adidas.
There's no way Adidas will allow that. There's no way they wouldn't allow the NBA players to do that. Remember during the Olympics when they would put a towel over their
cover?
Right. We had a couple messages on here. How long the Stokes decision, but I didn't see it. And then the other one from Tracy Pearson: does McBride committing hurt the possibility of Stokes coming to UK? I don't think it did. I just think that it added. Pope was already looking beyond Stokes not coming. He probably already knew. I think the honorable thing would have been to tell Pope that he's not coming to Kentucky. But I don't think it hurt it.
I'm not convinced, Craig, that he we didn't know that the Justin McBride announcement as we were going on the air, as we moved into our Kentucky segment, that's why I shifted as quickly as we did. And looking back on it, something tells me that they've known
that's what I think too.
And they were holding the McBride. And again, McBride was off the board, you all. Justin McBride was not discussed over the last 7 days. You know,
right.
It was
at least a week. Yeah.
He whiffed again on McBride. You know, it's like we thought, what in the world's going on? I think they've known for the last week. And that's a great question, Tracy. I think at the end of the day, I think it's one of those things where they've known, and that's why they're pivoting at this point. I also think that's why they were with Ryan Hampton, trying to get him to convince him to reclassify. Now, Ryan Hampton is a young kid, but he's a dynamic scorer. He's an individual that he's not proven yet, but he can score. And he's played against Tyran Stokes, and they lit the board up in AAU games. So this is there's another hidden gem that they might find. And look, I know I've said this a bunch of times, but last year Michigan had nobody on the team that was a known commodity that was going to be an NBA stud, right? Michigan had 5 guys from a bunch of different schools. Yaxel Lindenborg played at Western Arizona Community College for 2 years. I mean, and now he's 6'8", and he's the most dominant player, you know, in at the end of the year in the tournament. He's going to be a draft pick and all these things. They had Mara, who was from Spain and ended up going to UCLA, and he scored 3 points at UCLA, and then goes to Michigan, and he's just a world beater.
Like 17 a game then, isn't
it? I mean, and so many blocks. I mean, I can't tell you how many blocks. He had 100 blocks in one season, which is the all-time record at the University of Michigan, and Big Ten record.
Yeah.
So they put together a bunch of guys who were, I guess you could call them journeymen. I mean, some of those guys, it was their 3rd and 4th team. So, you know, before Lindenborg got there, he was at Western Arizona, and then he went to UAB, and he was not, I mean, he scored 17 at UAB, but let's be honest, it's UAB. So, you know, these guys are vetting who they are bringing in here. And I haven't lost hope that Pope and those guys don't know what they're doing. At the same time, you know, I'll give some credit to Carter Gilbert here as well. You know, he made a good point today. Donnie Freeman wanted $4 million from the University of Kentucky, and he's been injured. He's been injured a lot. So this coaching staff knows what they have to accomplish next year. And if you have a lot of injuries or anything of that nature, they're not going to overpay for you at this point.
And remember back to the December slate of games when it looked like the players were playing individually.
Yes.
And all the fans were going nuts because whoever rebounded the ball ended up shooting the ball at the other end. Maybe they learned on this recruiting deal that they've got to hire people that want to be a team instead of individual star to try to show off their stuff onto the NBA. That's what I think has happened here with the signings he's had in the last 5 or 6 days. I agree. He already knew Stokes wasn't coming to Kentucky.
Yeah.
So he started going after all these other players, and I still say that Senegalese player, he might be the unicorn of this year's recruiting class.
Yeah, I totally agree. You know, once he was announced, I was like, who is this guy? But then when you watch the guy, and I think UK fans will be really excited about a guy who, and you add Justin McBride. You have 2 guys who are not Mo Diabate and they're not Brandon Garrison. That should excite both of you, because these guys dunk the basketball, you know,
and maybe shoot from far
and can shoot from outside, even a mid-range jumper. So you have guys who are not afraid to go in and do something at the rack, and maybe that'll help Malachi Moreno as well. But the roster still needs a couple things. The roster needs a star piece. Now, I don't know who that star piece is out there, you know, but you need something, and they need a proven wing scorer. And maybe that's bringing in Hampton or somebody like that. And they need somebody else who's, up until 30 minutes ago, they needed one more front court rotation player, and they got that.
Justin McBride.
So of the 3 that they needed, one of them's off the board. You know, it would have been nice to have somebody that would have taken those other 2, you know, off the board for us. It didn't happen. Got to move on. It's not a big deal. And again, Big Blue Nation, you could have paid $8 million and had a guy sitting on the bench for half of your games very easily. Very easily.
I'm not disappointed with this team over these last few signings.
No,
I think Pope has filled in the hole, and now he's standing on top of it. And we're going to have a pretty decent team next year.
I think you
to start
will
off the year.
I think what you will see is that in the next few days, probably, well, it may even be in the next 24 hours, you will see Kentucky add a couple more players who were probably waiting to see if money was going to free at that point. And now you're talking about, $8 million potentially dollars freeing up for some guys who, are good players, not good players, great players. Maybe they're not Tyran Stokes good, but they are great players. And on a team, that's what you need. Again, look at Michigan. Look what Michigan
team.
Yeah. Michigan was a team. They were a complete team. And that's what you have to have. I mean, Duke had great players this year. UConn had a couple of great players. Michigan had the best team, and that's what won
look,
the championship.
Look at last year's Duke team. What did they have on last year's Duke team? I mean, the year before, they had the NBA Rookie of the Year,
right?
And they had the number 2 vote getter in NBA Rookie of the Year on the same team.
Yeah, but if that's all you have,
I mean, and Kentucky beat them.
Yeah,
remember?
Absolutely. But the flip side of that is, I don't think with this team that's coming in and the guys who have stuck around, you're not gonna have a 40-point beatdown by Gonzaga. I mean, you're just not.
No.
This is gonna be a better team.
Yeah, I think so.
Is it a top 10 team? I don't know. It's a top 25 team, and I already know that people are going to be in our inbox saying we don't accept top 25. Hey, if you're in the top 25, you fight your way up to. Michigan wasn't the number 1 team consensus to start off with. They were in the top 5, but work your way up. I think that this will be a really good team, and I think when you analyze the different pieces that they're having here, you're going to be surprised at how good this team is.
That's what everybody's going to do. They're going to start picking these players, and I mean picking them apart, looking at them, and I think in the end they'll be satisfied with what we've got.
I think you'll be actually surprised. This will be a better team than we had last year.
I don't think there's any doubt of that already.
Yeah.
Only thing if ice cold, what'd you call him, Mr. Clutch? If he'd stayed, Captain Clutch, if he'd have stayed, been different. But we've replaced him, I think, with just as many shooters. But he was our main outside shooter that we had to count on last year, him and Oway. And I think we've got more than just those 2 this year.
Yeah, I think you will, and I'm looking forward to it. But again, we don't know what that final lineup's going to look like. So we will wait over the next few days and see what happens. If Ryan Hampton reclassifies, that is a big deal for the University of Kentucky and where they go from here. Anything else you want to add before we hop off here tonight?
No, just a little disappointed, but still got a whole lot of happiness to look forward to.
That's right. I mean, there's so much to look forward to in Big Blue Nation. Kansas ain't winning the national championship with that team. I'm telling you right now, they ain't winning the national championship. Not with that team they have right now.
Got 1 or 2 players, and that's it.
Yeah. So we have a lot to be excited about, Big Blue Nation. And by the way, football season's right around the corner. And how exciting is that going to be, right?
Okay, let's go.